don't hate you. They're hunting you. Not for what you've done, but for what you might reveal. Every word you speak, every emotion you show, every reaction you give, it's all data to them. Information they can use, twist, and weaponize against you. And the most dangerous part, you've been trained to hand it over freely, to respond, to explain, to prove yourself under pressure like you're on trial. But this was never a conversation. It was always a test, and the moment you react without control, you fail it. Niccolo Machiavelli understood something brutal about human nature. People don't respect transparency, they exploit it. Power is not in what you show, it's in what you withhold. The man who cannot be read cannot be predicted, and the man who cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. So while they provoke, analyze, and wait for you to crack, you give them nothing. No emotion, no explanation, no access, just silence. And that silence, it begins to suffocate them, because now they're trapped in uncertainty, trying to decode a man who refuses to be understood. That's when the shift happens. That's when they start destroying themselves, trying to get a reaction you'll never give. So lock this in now. This is your new identity. Comment it. I control what I reveal. Number 1, the addiction to your reaction. Watch closely. Most people don't want truth. They want control. And the easiest way to control a man is to control how he feels. That's why they provoke you. Not because they're strong, but because they're dependent. Your reaction becomes their validation. Your anger becomes their entertainment. Your defense becomes their victory. It's a psychological addiction. They push, you respond. They feel powerful. They insult, you explain. They feel superior. They disrespect, you react. They feel in control. And the cycle repeats until you break it. Understand this with brutal clarity. The moment you stop reacting, you cut off their supply. It's like starving a parasite. At first, they intensify. They push harder, louder, more disrespect. Not because they're confident, but because they're panicking. They can feel their influence slipping, and they don't know how to function without it. This is where most men fail. They mistake escalation for strength. They think, I need to respond now. No, that's the trap tightening. The more you engage, the deeper you sink into their frame. Look deeper into human nature. People are not as independent as they appear. Most operate on emotional feedback loops. They say something, they expect something back. A reaction confirms their presence. It makes them feel real, relevant, significant. When you deny that reaction, you create a void. And humans fear voids more than conflict. Conflict is predictable. Silence is not. Silence forces them inward. Now they start questioning themselves. Why isn't he reacting? Did I go too far? Does he not care? That uncertainty begins to fracture their confidence. This is where your power grows, but only if you hold the line. Because silence is not passive. It's controlled restraint. It's awareness sharpened into discipline. You're not ignoring, you're choosing. Choosing not to give energy where it's being demanded. Choosing not to play a role in someone else's emotional script. Choosing to remain in control when everything around you is trying to pull you out of it. And here's the part most won't tell you. Your silence exposes people. Without your reaction to hide behind, their true nature surfaces. The manipulator becomes desperate, the insecure becomes loud, the arrogant becomes reckless. They reveal everything, while you reveal nothing. That's asymmetry, that's advantage. And in any psychological game, the one who reveals less controls more. But don't confuse this with weakness. Weak men stay silent because they're afraid. Powerful men stay silent because they understand timing. There's a difference. Fear is reactive silence. Power is intentional silence. One comes from avoidance. The other comes from control. You are not avoiding confrontation. You are choosing when and if it deserves your attention at all. Think about this. Why would a king respond to every insult thrown from the crowd? He wouldn't. Not because he can't, but because he doesn't need to. His position is not threatened by noise, and neither is yours, unless you decide it is. The moment you react emotionally, you lower yourself into the arena of chaos, and chaos is where control is lost. So the strategy is simple, but not easy. You detach. You observe. You let them reveal themselves fully. And you stay grounded in something they don't have, self-command. Because in the end, it's not about winning arguments. It's about maintaining authority over yourself. Let them chase your reaction. Let them crave your attention. Let them expose their desperation. And you remain still while they destroy themselves trying to move you. Now, lock this deeper into your identity. Comment it again. My silence is my power. Number 2, the discipline of being unreadable. Understand this. Most men aren't defeated by enemies. They're exposed by themselves. They leak too much, too many emotions, too many intentions, too many reactions. And in a world driven by perception, exposure is vulnerability. The more people can read you, the easier it becomes to predict you. And once you're predictable, you're controllable. That's the hidden law no one teaches you, not in school, not in society. Because a predictable man is a manageable man. And manageable men never rise, they're used. You've been told to be expressive, to speak your truth, to let people know how you feel. But no one told you the cost. Every emotion you display is a signal. Every reaction is information, and information is leverage in the wrong hands. This is why the powerful don't reveal themselves fully. They move with intention, they speak with precision, and most importantly, they know when to say nothing at all. Look at the structure of control. It doesn't come from shouting louder. It comes from knowing more while showing less. The moment someone understands your triggers, your fears, your insecurities, they gain access to your behavior. Now, they don't need to fight you. They can guide you, manipulate you, push you exactly where they want you to go without you even realizing it. That's how most people lose power. Not in one big moment, but in small, repeated exposures. So you must become something rare, something difficult to read. Not cold for the sake of it, but controlled. There's a difference. Being unreadable doesn't mean you have no emotions. It means your emotions are yours. They don't belong to the environment. They don't belong to the people around you. They are contained, directed, used only when it serves you. Because here's the reality. People test boundaries constantly, sometimes consciously, most of the time subconsciously. They throw out comments, small jabs, disrespect wrapped in humor, and they wait, not for your words, but for your reaction. That reaction tells them everything. It tells them where your limits are, how far they can go, how easily you can be moved, and once they know that, they adjust their behavior accordingly. If you react quickly, you're emotional. If you defend yourself, you're insecure. If you get angry, you're predictable. And if you try to prove yourself, you've already lost frame. But when you don't react, when you pause, when you let their words hang in silence without giving them anything to work with, something shifts. The dynamic changes. Now they're the one exposed. Now they're the one wondering. Now they're the one trying to regain control of a situation they no longer understand. That's psychological dominance, not through force, but through absence. And this is where discipline becomes everything, because staying silent is easy once, maybe twice, but consistently, that requires control most men don't have. Your mind will fight you. Your ego will scream. It will say something, defend yourself, don't let that slide. But understand, your ego is not your ally here. It's the weakest part of you. It reacts to protect identity, not to maintain power. Power doesn't care about being right. Power cares about being in control, so you must train yourself to pause, to detach from the immediate impulse to respond, to observe instead of react. This is not passive, it's strategic patience. You're giving yourself time to assess, to understand, to decide whether a response is even necessary. And most of the time, it isn't. Because not everything deserves your energy, not everything deserves your attention, and definitely not everyone deserves access to your emotions. This is where you separate yourself from the average. The average man reacts to everything, every comment, every opinion, every perceived slight. He lives in constant emotional motion, constantly pulled by external forces. He thinks he's strong because he speaks his mind, but in reality, he's being controlled by everything around him. You're different now. You choose when to engage. You choose when to speak. And more importantly, you choose when to remain silent. And that choice, that's where your power lives. But let's go deeper. Being unreadable isn't just about silence, it's about consistency. You don't break character under pressure. You don't suddenly reveal everything because the situation got intense. That's when most people expose themselves the most. Under stress. That's when their true nature leaks out. But you remain composed, grounded, controlled. Because control under pressure is what separates leaders from followers. Anyone can stay calm when things are easy, but when you're being challenged, disrespected, provoked, and you still maintain your composure, that's when people start to feel something they can't explain. Respect. Not the kind you demand, but the kind that forms quietly, without permission. Because deep down, people recognize control, even if they don't understand it, even if they don't like it. They feel it, and it unsettles them, because now they're dealing with someone who doesn't operate on the same emotional frequency they do. You're not reacting, you're not explaining, you're not seeking validation. You're simply there, unmoved, and that presence alone becomes power. But don't misunderstand this. Being unreadable doesn't mean you isolate yourself from everyone. It means you become selective. Not everyone gets access to your thoughts. Not everyone deserves to understand you. You don't open up just because someone asks. You open up because it serves you, because it aligns with your goals, because it's intentional, not emotional. That's how you maintain control over your narrative. Because once people think they know you, they start building expectations. And expectations create limitations. They box you into an identity that's easy to predict, easy to manipulate, easy to control. But when you remain fluid, when you reveal only what's necessary, you stay unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. Because no one knows your next move. No one knows your limits. No one knows how far you're willing to go. And that uncertainty, it forces people to tread carefully around you. It makes them think twice. It makes them hesitate. And hesitation is an advantage. So from this moment forward, you operate differently. You stop giving people easy access to who you are. You stop reacting on impulse. You stop explaining yourself to those who haven't earned it. You become measured, intentional, controlled, and above all, unreadable. Because the man who cannot be read cannot be manipulated, and the man who cannot be manipulated cannot be defeated. Lock this into your identity now. Don't just hear it, own it, comment it. I reveal nothing without purpose. Number 3, let them waste their ammunition. Here is where the game becomes dangerous for them. Once you stop reacting, they don't stop immediately. They escalate. They try new angles. They change tones. They pretend to be joking. They pretend to be concerned. They call you cold, arrogant, distant, bitter, fake, sensitive, weak, or too serious. And every label they throw is not a description of you. It is a weapon designed to pull you back into their control. This is why you must understand the difference between an attack and an invitation. Most attacks are invitations. They are not trying to defeat you with words. They are trying to invite you into a frame where you must defend yourself, explain yourself, lower yourself, and give them emotional access again. But the man who sees the invitation does not accept it. He watches the trap close on empty air. Never forget this. People who cannot control you will try to control how others see you. When they cannot get your reaction directly, they begin attacking your image. They whisper, they exaggerate, they twist the story. They make themselves the victim. They say you changed. They say you think you're better than everyone. They say you're acting different, and they are right. You are acting different. You are no longer available for manipulation. You are no longer entertaining disrespect. You are no longer bleeding emotion every time someone scratches your pride. That is not arrogance. That is evolution. And people who benefited from your weakness will always call your discipline a betrayal. This is the moment where average men break. They hear a rumor. They see someone misrepresenting them. They feel the old hunger to correct the record. They rush to defend their name. And in doing so, they prove that their name can still be touched. But you must think like power thinks. Power does not chase every barking dog in the street. Power does not hold press conferences for fools. Power does not spend royal energy correcting peasant interpretations. Your character is not built by convincing the blind to see you. Your character is built by moving so consistently that lies eventually exhaust themselves. A lie needs fuel, drama needs oxygen, provocation needs response. Without your reaction, their attack starts feeding on them. They must keep talking. They must keep pushing. They must keep inventing new reasons why you deserve their obsession. And that obsession exposes them more than your defense ever could. This is the cold beauty of silence. It makes your enemy do all the work. While you stay composed, they become emotional. While you stay precise, they become sloppy. While you stay focused, they become consumed. And slowly, without you lifting a finger, they reveal the weakness they were trying to project onto you. This is why you never interrupt an enemy while he is embarrassing himself. Let him speak. Let him perform. Let him overplay his hand. A controlled man knows that time is a brutal witness. Time reveals motives. Time exposes inconsistency. Time separates discipline from theater. When someone tries to provoke you and you refuse to participate, they are forced to stand alone with their own behavior. And most people cannot survive that. They need your reaction to justify their disrespect. They need your anger so they can say, "See, he's the problem." They need your defense so they can accuse you of insecurity. They need your emotion so they can disguise their manipulation as observation. So give them nothing. Not because you are afraid, because you are strategic. There is a level of masculine control that makes noise look childish. It is the control of a man who has already decided who he is, and therefore does not need the crowd to confirm it. He does not tremble when misunderstood. He does not panic when judged. He does not beg for the respect of people who cannot even govern their own mouths. His silence is not emptiness. It is a locked gate, and behind that gate is a mind they no longer deserve to enter. Understand this clearly. Not every insult deserves a response. Some insults are bait. Some questions are traps. Some conversations are cages. Some apologies are hooks. Some compliments are masks. The world is filled with people who do not approach you honestly. They approach you through pressure. They test your emotional border, hoping to discover a weak entrance. If they can find what makes you angry, they can steer you. If they can find what makes you insecure, they can shrink you. If they can find what makes you desperate, they can buy you cheaply. But when they find nothing, when every door is sealed, they start turning on themselves. And this is where you become untouchable, not because no one attacks you, but because attacks no longer move you. That is real strength. Strength is not the absence of pressure. Strength is the refusal to be shaped by pressure. Anyone can act powerful when nobody challenges him, but when the room becomes hostile, when the tone becomes disrespectful, when the old version of you wants to rise up and prove something, and you remain calm anyway, that is when you become dangerous. Because now your discipline has teeth. A man who controls himself controls the battlefield. Always. Even when he says nothing, especially when he says nothing, because the battlefield is not the argument. The battlefield is the frame. Whoever controls the frame controls the meaning of the moment. If they provoke you and you explode, their frame wins. If they disrespect you and you scramble to prove your value, their frame wins. If they accuse you and you emotionally chase their approval, their frame wins. But if they provoke you and you remain still, the frame collapses. Now they are just a person acting out in front of someone who refuses to descend. That refusal is power. Cold power, quiet power. Power that does not need applause. You must train yourself to become allergic to unnecessary reaction. Before you respond, ask yourself silently, what does this cost me? Not emotionally, strategically. If you answer this message, what do you give away? If you argue with this person, what status do you lend them? If you defend yourself in front of people who already decided to misunderstand you, what energy do you lose? If you show anger, what weakness do they now know exists? This is how a powerful mind thinks. Not, how do I feel, but what does this move create? Every reaction creates a consequence. Every word opens a door. Every defense reveals a bruise. This is why your silence must be disciplined, not random. You are not silent because you have nothing to say. You are silent because most things do not deserve the privilege of your voice. Your voice is not cheap. Your attention is not public property. Your energy is not a donation box for insecure people. Let them call you distant. Distance is protection. Let them call you cold. Coldness is clarity. Let them call you arrogant. Arrogance is often the name weak people give to boundaries they cannot cross. Let them say you changed. Yes, you changed from accessible to selective, from reactive to controlled, from readable to strategic, from emotionally available to mentally sovereign. And they will hate that because the old version of you was easier to disturb, easier to guilt, easier to pull into useless battles, easier to make explain, easier to make bleed. But the new version of you does not bleed on command. The new version does not dance for approval. The new version does not open the gates because someone knocked with disrespect. This is where your transformation becomes visible. People will feel the difference before they understand it. Your pauses will become heavier. Your eye contact will become calmer. Your words will become fewer. Your presence will become harder to challenge. Not because you are trying to intimidate anyone, but because you no longer negotiate with chaos. And when chaos cannot negotiate with you, it loses access. Listen carefully. Some people are not enemies because they are strong. They are enemies because they are bored, insecure, wounded, or addicted to disturbance. They need a reaction to feel alive. They need conflict to feel important. They need access to your nervous system because they have no authority over their own. But you are not here to feed their emptiness. You are here to build a mind so controlled that their disorder cannot enter it. So let them waste their ammunition. Let them fire every insult, every rumor, every cheap psychological trick. Let them empty the chamber. You do not move. You do not flinch. You do not offer them the satisfaction of knowing where it landed. And eventually they will stand there exhausted, exposed, and confused. Because they used everything they had, and you are still standing. That is the victory. Not revenge, not shouting, not proving. Endurance without exposure. Control without performance. Dominance without noise. So burn this into your mind. The reaction they want is the power you must keep. The explanation they demand is the access you must deny. The anger they try to awaken is the weakness you must master. And the silence they cannot understand is the weapon they will fear most. Now put this into words, not for them, but for yourself. Comment it with conviction. I waste no power on noise. Number 4. Turn their provocation into self-destruction. Listen carefully. When people cannot reach your mind, they begin attacking your image. This is the next stage. This is where the weak become inventive. They failed to provoke your anger, so now they attempt to provoke your pride. They know you won't explode easily, so they try something more poisonous. They try to make you feel misunderstood. They try to make you feel misjudged. They try to make you feel the need to step forward and say, "That's not who I am." And that need, the need to correct every false perception, is one of the most dangerous traps a man can fall into. Because the moment you become obsessed with controlling what everyone thinks of you, you stop controlling yourself. Never forget this. A man who is constantly explaining himself is already standing beneath the judgment of others. He has accepted their court. He has accepted their authority. He has accepted the idea that their opinion has the power to summon him. But you are not here to live like a defendant. You are not here to keep presenting evidence of your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You are not here to polish your image in front of dirty mirrors. You are here to become untouchable, and the untouchable man knows this brutal truth. Some people don't want clarity, they want access. They don't want the truth about you. They want a reaction from you. They want to see if their words still have keys to your nervous system. So when they twist your silence into arrogance, let them. When they call your discipline coldness, let them. When they call your boundaries disrespect, let them. Let them build their little version of you. Let them decorate it with their insecurity. Let them speak to it. Let them argue with it. Let them fight a ghost while you keep moving in reality. Because the strongest men are not disturbed by every false story. They understand that reputation is not defended by panic. Reputation is defended by pattern, by consistency, by results, by the quiet force of becoming so undeniably solid that lies begin to sound ridiculous even before you respond. This is where dark psychology becomes useful, not to manipulate the innocent, but to recognize manipulation